In Quentin Tarantino's film *Inglourious Basterds*, there's a scene in which Christoph Waltz's character makes a statement along the lines of, "What makes me so different from the other German soldiers is that I can think outside of their box, where they can only think inside of the box, and like a German." And it's not so much the situation, but rather the idea of his statement that I want to talk about. This idea that most people, and specifically most adults, cannot truly understand nor think like that of a child. And when I say think like a child, I'm talking about the imagination and the creativity that a child possesses. This idea that anything in their world is possible and that life isn't so serious as adults believe it to be. At our age, if you're to go and outwardly express these ideas of, say, wonder in the world or that anything is possible, you're dismissed as naive and unrealistic. Our society places so much emphasis on just growing up, and our school places so much pressure to take high school seriously, because if you do, then you'll get into a good college and repeat the whole thing just so you can secure a good job and be successful. And the sentiment of these ideas themselves aren't bad. I wholly agree with the idea that hard work will take you far in life. But I think the way that schools create one guideline and one ideal for what a successful student is, it's really detrimental, and it creates immense pressure to conform to these ideals, and it creates the sense that it's looked down upon to think outside of the box. There's this statement that Kanye West made in an interview. He was talking about school, but I really like it. And he says that schools, that they just teach you to become somebody else's property. And I kind of really agree with that, because all of the pressure is placed on kids to conform to a certain ideal. And I say kids, but I really mean people my age, because we're right at the tipping point of how our life will play out. But this pressure is such a negative thing, because most people have and will continue to succumb to it. They'll give in and conform and do as they're expected rather than fight that pressure. And when you give in, you lose that childlike sense in yourself. That idea that anything is possible, it's gone. And it's because you've given in and gone and done what someone else, whether it was your school or just someone else in your life, you did what they wanted rather than what you wanted. And I think in its essence, that is what it means to be a kid. To believe in yourself and to do what you want. To really stand for something. When you don't give in, if you don't, you hold on to that. No matter if you're 15 or you're 45, you will always have that belief in yourself. You will always hold that childlike sense of imagination and belief in anything that you could imagine. One of my favorite books, The Little Prince, begins with the narrator telling a story of how he drew a picture of a python that had just eaten an elephant. He showed it to an adult and asked if he was scared, because to a child that was a scary thing. The adult was confused, not scared, because he thought it looked like a hat. He couldn't imagine that it was anything else. And so the narrator drew a second drawing. This time he drew the elephant inside of the python. so you could see the elephant and so the adults could understand. And that initial idea that the narrator had, his creativity, it was gone in the second drawing. The narrator, like the majority of people, compromised his vision, his creativity and imagination in order to conform and to be understood by adults, because that childlike sense of imagination was long gone for them. But let me clarify. I'm not necessarily talking about all adults. I'm talking about the majority of them. But really, I'm really talking in a bigger sense about these societal beliefs that the ideas we have as children are reserved for childhood, and that you must move past and forget it at some point, because life is so serious and there is no room for imagination or childish things. But I know that isn't true. It can't be. If it was, there would be no art, no movies, no music. Look at any great artist. They were probably told to drop that interest, to get a real professional job, a job that pays, and take all that creative stuff and just put it in a box, save it for another day, you know. But they didn't, because they still held that imagination that they could do their own thing and carve out their own path for success that wasn't by the books and wasn't what they were told to do. Self-expression, individuality, imagination, these are all at everyone's core. It's not just reserved for artists. This is something that we're all born with. And it's just a matter of if you choose to embrace and foster it, or if you choose to box it up and forget it. I really think that's why art in any form is so important to society, because the majority of people, they will conform and they will choose to box up and forget that childlike wonder and imagination. They will do as they are taught and conform to society, but that art, whether it's music or a movie, it will remind them of the imagination they once had. It will take them back to a time where they felt free and untethered by all the weight that the world put on them. Life doesn't have to be that way, though. It doesn't have to be monotonous and unfulfilling and mundane and heavy. Life can be anything you want it to be. But the key to making that happen is to truly do what you want. Don't compromise your vision. Don't compromise your creativity. And certainly don't compromise your individuality. That's all you really have. And the second you give that up and do what someone else wants, you've lost yourself. I talked earlier about Kanye West and how, schools just teach you to become somebody else's property. But I want to talk about it a little more, because I think that idea really expands past school. It's more of a societal thing, and really it's everything that I've been trying to say for the past few minutes, that you're taught to grow up and put away your individuality and creativity, something we're all born with, and just simply do what others want and expect you to do. But I truly, truly encourage you to carve out your own path in life, to pursue your dreams, and to hold and cherish that inner child and everything it symbolizes. It's important to surround yourself with people who believe in and support you. Let me emphasize that. They support you. They don't tell you what to do or tell you what they would do. They just encourage you. But having that support system, it's still a gift. It's not a given. But I've been lucky enough to find that in my life. My family and the few true friends that I have supported me, and they've encouraged me even in times when I face judgment and backlash from the majority of other people in my life. Their support obviously has been immensely encouraging, but at the end of the day, I know that their support means nothing if I don't take a stand for myself and what I believe in. And the same applies to you. I encourage you to stand strong in yourself. Do not compromise what you believe or what you want to do just because someone tells you not to. Your life is yours alone to live and shape. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. Thank you.